Today we're gonna find out which brand made the most accurate first generation Porsche 911 or 901. Is it Mini GT, the one on the left, or AirBox, the one on the right? So Mini GT, the green one, AirBox, the blue one. So let's talk about the wheels first. The first thing I notice here is that for some reason, Mini GT used these kind of tires, which is, to me, it looks like off-road tires because you can clearly see the tire threads from the sidewall. If you look at AirBox, I think the tires on the AirBox is more accurate. It's rounder, just like the real thing, right? From the side, you can see that it looks inflated and pretty smooth overall. On the side, you're not gonna see any tire threads from the side, which is good and accurate. Also, talking about the wheels now, Mini GT used a silver paint on the wheels. The details on the wheels are not bad, but the paint, I'm talking about the paint here because if you look at AirBox, they use chrome paint, which is more accurate. In fact, let's do a quick side-by-side photo here. So you can see on the wheels on the real life car is painted in chrome. Now, going back to the tires real quick before we move on, this is where Mini GT wins. See how thin the tires are on the AirBox compared to Mini GT? I think Mini GT is more accurate. Now, while we're on the base on the Mini GT is metal, AirBox plastic. So that's why you're gonna feel that weight difference. So if you do this side by side, you're gonna feel the difference between the two. Mini GT is more, it feels more premium than the AirBox. In terms of details, I think they're pretty even. Both models have detailed base, so both are winners here. Now, in terms of trim, I actually looked this up because if you notice, Mini GT has this silver panel down here below the door. This is because this is a more premium trim, and AirBox, this is more like their base trim, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, of course, because you're not going to see that silver or chrome panel. But the thing is, these panels, or this panel on this side, is supposed to be painted in chrome. But for some reason, Mini GT used a silver paint on it. And in fact, here's a side-by-side comparison between the two. This is the real life car on the left and Mini GT on the right. The front bumper is supposed to be chrome. Mini GT used a silver paint. AirBox, they use a chrome paint here, which is accurate. Headlights are bigger on the AirBox, which I think is more accurate, right? And in fact, I think Mini GT for some reason looks more narrow. So AirBox is a bit more, I guess wider, right? I don't know which one is more accurate. These two are supposed to be both true 1/64 scale, but Mini GT for some reason is smaller. And you can kind of see the difference from this angle, right? And from this angle too, because if you look at Mini GT, the lights or the headlights are a bit smaller than AirBox. The details on inside the headlights are more detailed on AirBox. And here's Mini GT. The acrylic headlights are clear to me, but you're not gonna see that much details inside the headlights, unfortunately. Both brands use acrylic turn signals, but what's missing here is the silver frame or the chrome paint around the turn signal, because you're gonna see that here on AirBox. They didn't use chrome paint, but it's pretty darn close to a chrome paint to me. And also, at least they have it. They didn't forget that, unlike Mini GT, they completely skipped that, silver frame around the turn signal. And also this grille right here, this silver and black grille, that one is also painted. AirBox did the same thing here. So instead of a separate plastic piece for the grille, they just painted it in front, which I really don't mind because it's cleaner that way. So I think if you ask me, that's a tie, but clearly Airbox wins in the turn signal department, right? Now, I mentioned this in my review. The Porsche emblem on the Airbox is probably the best Porsche badge that I've seen in 64 scale. And I think comparing it to Mini GT, I think I'll still choose the Porsche emblem on the Airbox. It's more detailed. You can kind of see it from this angle, from this far, that, yeah, you can see the details inside that Porsche crest, right? So which is kind of insane for 64 scale. The interior, Airbox wins here by a landslide. So for the Airbox, there's a lot of details inside. On the seats alone, you'll see the houndstooth pattern in the middle of the seats. That's in front seats and also the back seats. So that's very cool that they added that. And also the steering wheel is painted in brown. And also the rear view mirror is present here on Airbox, and it's painted nicely as well. It looks like they use a chrome paint here as well. So that's very nice to see. Going back to Mini GT, the interior is, of course, if you're familiar with Mini GT already, they don't really put a lot of details in the interior, unfortunately. I mean, I get it because they are a budget brand for a reason, right? Now on the rear, you'll see one of the biggest difference here. Mini GT, this part right here, this grille, if I'm not mistaken, this is just a slab of plastic, and they just painted it in silver and make it look like a grille, right? So it's kind of hard to explain, but there's no texture here when you touch it. Now going back to Airbox, this grille portion here, it's actually photo etched metal. When you run your finger on it, you can actually feel some texture there. So on the grille, Airbox clearly wins it because it has more details. Now the Porsche lettering in the back, I'm pretty sure this is just my copy, because if you look at the Porsche lettering down here, mine looks really messed up. So you can kind of read Porsche there, but it's kind of messy. I think this is a QC issue. Now, if you look at Airbox, you can clearly see Porsche here, and it's a lot cleaner than Mini GT. And you can see the 911 badge, or yeah, you can see the 911 here in the corner too. Props to Airbox for actually doing this right, and it looks cleaner than the Mini GT. On the back, Airbox, it does have a Porsche plate in the middle. Mini GT, no plate. So comparing this two, I really don't have a preference. I mean, I guess with the Porsche plate, it kind of looks cool, right, on the Airbox. Taillights does not have a silver frame around it on the Mini GT, but the taillights are acrylic and they are clear, so I like that. Now going back to Airbox, the taillights are also acrylic, and they have the silver frame around it. That's another win for Airbox. The exhaust, I think the exhausts are pretty similar. Yes, not, because Airbox clearly has more details. The exhaust pipe right here, it's also well painted. It looks like they use like a flat light gray paint on it, and it looks matte to me. But the exhaust tip is, I think they use a different color. It looks metal to me too. Well, no, actually, I think it's just plastic, and then they use a chrome paint. Here, going back on Mini GT, I mean, it has some details on it, but they use like a silver paint here. There's some details, and the exhaust tip looks okay, but it's not on Airbox's level. So this clearly looks more realistic than Mini GT. So what would I recommend between these two, Mini GT or Airbox? For me, it's Airbox, clearly because it has more details. They got a lot of things right. You know, the chrome wheels, the chrome front bumper, the chrome rear bumper, the silver frame around the taillights and headlights. Headlights also look a lot clearer and has more details. And plus the fog lights, they use yellow acrylic covers on the fog lights, which is accurate. Let's see what else. I know this is not a big deal to a lot of people, but the Porsche badge, I think that is beautiful. Last but not the least, the interior. So Airbox really nailed the interior here. So now the price is, I believe this is $25 MSRP. So it's a bit steep for some people, but if you can only have one casting of the 901 anyways, I would rather save up and get the best one. And to me, in my opinion, this is the best one. If $25 is too steep for you, your next best option is Mini GT. When it was released, it was like $10, $12, $15, right? But now that, since this is an older casting now, it might have gone up. If you can't find this model under 20, then might as well go for the Airbox. If you are not a fan of this color, the enamel blue, the good news is Airbox has announced more colors for the 901. So I believe they are going to release a guards red, a yellow, and a silver, if I'm not mistaken. So you're gonna have some options. Yeah, so that's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed that video, and hopefully it helps you make a decision on which model or which brand to get. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.